Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Depressed Dealer, and this is Langrisser Mobile season, Apex Season 7. So I went on a bit of a losing streak, as always. First match was against an AoE box that I did reasonably well, but I just couldn't keep up, and I also messed up positioning, and I also let them have Illustrial. And then the second match was against someone that had a Season 6 banner, and essentially had a 2-tank push with Rian, and I just didn't have an answer for that. That particular match, I should have just banned the tanks right off the bat once I saw what was going on, especially since they were banning my assassins, because then I could at least try to maybe out damage them or out distance them. The third match, I just completely forfeit because during the previous two matches, I realized that I was still using, I wasn't using Patsyr, and I was planning on using Patsyr. I had Toa in, but I didn't have Patsyr. And so I just was, and I started the next match, I was like, whoops, I was supposed to switch, so I just forfeited. Anyway, as you can see, I did change things up in the box. I dropped Sri Lanka, and I dropped, I went ahead and dropped Rosalia. I kept Sheltier around, mostly just kind of for just some change, because obviously people do use Rosalia over Sheltier for multiple reasons. And obviously I replaced them with Toa and Patsyr. Everyone in this box is 6 stars, that includes Toa. The only exception to that is Patsyr. Patsyr is 5 stars. And then my opponent here is a little all over the place. I kind of feel bad about this opponent. I wasn't sure if this person was silver 1 or not, but they did some weird ban picks, in my opinion. In any case, they only had Rian, no Ares, so I banned Rian. Everything else in this box, it's got decent mobility. It looks like, if anything, it looks like a rushdown. There is some AoE, but not very much. But yeah, I mean, with Luna and Landius, you can definitely be like a magic range tank push too. So it seems like a standard box, like as far as like a normal balanced box in some ways, which is not something you usually see. You usually just see either full-on Assassin Rush or full-on AoE Rush. So, like I said, my opponent was a bit weird. They first banned my Sheltier. I don't know if that was just making a statement or what. They went with a tank first, which is usually pretty unique with my opponents, because usually they, like I said, they're Rush, so they usually don't pick a tank first. I immediately banned their Tensei Jessica and their Luna. Since they had Landius, which means they had the range reduction aura, I did not want it. As usual, I tend to plan for like single target long range magic damage. So having Luna and Landius together actually nerfs that pretty bad. So also Luna just gives extra mobility that I did not want to deal with. Got my my Hilda, and they hadn't banned my Florentia yet. One thing I was kind of probably doing a bit too early in my previous matches was I was second picking Florentia when I didn't need to. I should have used that time to pick some more key units. I mean, Florentia is definitely a must grab if you can grab her when you have someone that can faction buff her, because it just gives you so much utility. In any case, they went ahead and banned my Tensei Jessica. They banned my Rosen CL, which I was not concerned about. They picked Elwyn for some reason. I have Hilda, so Elwyn's not going to be able to do anything, and I have Blood Pact, so literally Elwyn will not be able to hurt me. I went ahead and banned. I was kind of torn on what to ban because there's a lot of juicy targets here. They hadn't banned my Patsyr yet, and they did have male characters, so I was kind of trying to leave a few male characters for them to pick. I went with Yulia, mainly because Yulia has self-reses and she can be a bit of a pain against Hilda. And then, obviously, I did not want to deal with any heal reversals from Listel there. And Listel's pretty tanky. I went ahead and grabbed Marielle because I figured that would give me plenty of flexibility as far as additional healing, cleansing, or just as a assassin in the pinch. They went and got rid of my Lycoris. I wasn't too concerned about that. Got rid of my Naomi, which kind of sucked. And then they went and took Rachel here. Whenever they pick Rachel, I always assume they're AoE until proven otherwise. So I was just assuming, okay, maybe she's gonna grab her 3C or whatever, and just try to nuke me. At this point, I was like, all right. Well, I tried to leave him with Bozel just to see if my opponent would grab Bozel, so I can take Patsyr and then stun Bozel give him a taste of his own medicine, but he didn't end up picking him, so I was like, well, I'm not going to let you have debuffs, so get rid of that, get rid of your teleport. Also, getting rid of the teleport means they only have two healers and a D-lit left, so there's a high chance they'll have to pick a healer at this point. At this point, I went ahead and grabbed Florentia because I had Marielle already, so I at least had some sort of pseudo-assassin if I need to. At this point, they took care of my Origin long range. They take Liana as their healer. At this point, I was like, I'll just take down your single target rush characters. I was kind of comfortable with Juggler. Yeah, Juggler could teleport and possibly negate my guard, but I have Marielle who can push him away if necessary. So I wasn't too worried about it. Also, Marielle can really wreck Juggler, as I will soon find out. At this point, I was pick 4 and they didn't ban my Zerda, so I was like, alright, I'll take a Zerda then. And they left me with the 2 new characters. I'm guessing possibly why they didn't ban any of these characters. Well, one probably was because no one really understands Patsyr's gimmick. The other reason is they're new characters, so it's possible they're low stars. In my case, that's not the case. So at this point, I was kind of torn. I was like, you know what? There's 3 male characters. Let's grab Patsyr and see what she can do. Alright. Sorry, just my volume here. Actually, give me 1 second. Okay, well, it's just checking volume. Alright. So, nothing too special here. Juggler actually took... he didn't take Triton. Took Faction Buff instead, and then, of course, Beast Shock and his 3C. Standard Landius, Elwyn with Faction Buff. So at this point, all of them have Faction Buff, so Toa would not have been able to assassinate. Liana went ahead and took Gossable and Act Again. And then Rachel here has Dark Alchemist and actually a single target with Gossable. So no AoE at all except with the exception of Juggler. So nothing to worry about there. Marielle, I went ahead, since I knew I was dealing with Landius and Elwyn, I went with Amazon Champions. Standard Florentia with, instead of 3C, I took a standard heal since she's our healer. Zerda standard. Hilda is spec towards resisting melee attacks. Mainly for Elwyn and possibly Juggler. And then Patsyr. My Patsyr is built for single target, so I went with Lucid Dream, Dark Reaper, and Charm. And that is pretty much it. Patsyr is Dark and Reincarnation, so I can Faction Buff her. So really the only thing I need to worry about is where Elwyn's going to move. So, pretty standard start here. So that movement there with Marielle was actually a mistake. I was intending her to stop 1 tile back, so that way I can move Hilda where Patsyr's at now, to safely guard. It's not the end of the world because one thing to note here is this Elwyn is not using unicorns. Probably to try to counteract the spears. So he took flyers. This does 2 things. One is he doesn't have free range movement over all terrain anymore, and the second thing is his Reign of Glory only makes him move an additional 3 spaces instead of 4. So he couldn't reach here anyway, but there is a chance that Liana could move up and possibly do an Act Again, in which case then they'll be able to reach Marielle. But looking at the terrain and how it is in the middle, he can only reach Marielle, so Zerda is actually safe. So the mistake wasn't a big deal. And you can argue it wasn't really a mistake in the end. So a lot of Gossables. I don't know why. I'm not really doing debuffs. Went ahead and gave Marielle Rush. I kind of miscounted the steps here. Well, actually, I think I did this just to kind of apply pressure. Because with this I can get to here, and then with my extra 2 steps I can get to here, so if he does push in I could possibly do some stuff with that. But instead my opponent went straight for Sacred 3C. Hits everyone, doesn't really do much, but does get all of his buffs up. So my original plan here, which I missed a kind of a key point, was I was going to attack Juggler, which would drop the Conviction and give her extra movement, and then I was going to use that extra movement to go and kill a key target. Problem is I still have ultra passable terrain. It's treated as water from juggler, so this actually it increased her movement, but not enough to actually get anywhere besides attacking juggler again. So that was my bad. Didn't really think that all the way through. Oh, sorry, it's called commandment, not conviction. Anyway, so I was like, oh well, I'll just beat up juggler some more. And his stats got dropped significantly. I think I got rid of his water, so just completely annihilate him. If that had not got the kill, I would have used rush on Patsyr to finish him off. But I didn't need to, so I was like, alright, well, I'll go gather around Hilda. Zerida's not in the range of anyone at the moment, so this was just to get set up. Alright, I even proc Thorns. So it does do some damage, mainly because they had flyers instead of cavalry, but even then, it's still not enough. Lucid Dream does extra damage against male characters, and if you attack a male character with it, it will bypass guard. It was super overkill, but I need now even with the revive, I can go in with Florentia and finish him off. So Rachel did proc Breeze, so I definitely had to heal Hilda here just in case. I mean, even if I hadn't, she still had a self-res, so I would have won the trade regardless. So went in and fell back, got another Breeze proc. The fallback was mainly to ensure that Zerida can actually get in range. Or get out of Zerida's range, but that's not going to really save her. I'm going to move in with Florentia, strategic regroup just to get a little extra stuff up. And then this was just to get rush up on Zerida, which gives her another 2 movement on top of all of her other extra movement from her kit. Now he did move up with Landius, which makes it so the aura is in range, so I actually can't move again after this kill. So she just gets stuck there. At this point, he's trying to at least get some sort of kill. I mean, at this point, I have full control of the match. Zerida has last rites, so I think that's why she survived. And of course, I went Amazon Champions on Marielle, so I can definitely duke it out here. I was a little surprised that Marielle took damage. It was kind of weird how that attack animation went. But at this point, even with the healing, I was able to cover my get Hilda up with the tank. And then I was like, huh, well, you're male. So Liana did have a, I think it was a Sage's hat, or the equivalent, which provides immunity to stun, but only for 1 turn. So when she went down to heal, that actually applied that immunity. So that's why I was like, alright, well, I'll just move in the tank. And then Landius, of course, was forced to take a turn, which got rid of the stun immunity. So at this point, I was like, alright, well, you're a male character. Here, have a charm. And you're also a male character, so I'll just hit you with Lucid Dream. Even with the aura, it was just not enough. And then at this point, there's not much left. He stayed till the end, though, so I got to kind of just see all these characters attack and see how they do. Yep, duked it out till the end. It's not like he was purposely stalling, so I definitely had no complaints here. Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened. My opponent did some weird ban picks, and then was just, I mean, my setup was just kind of a hard counter against a lot of the stuff he had. But It's a win's a win, so I'll take it.